So Tony now picks up his 5th loss in a row. I think he went from all the way to 2013, or just like 2009 to, I saw a graphic from MMA On Point. Shouts to them. I think it was like 2009 to 2013, he was undefeated. And then since 2020, he's been 0-5. Okay, BC.
Yeah, he had a 12-fight win streak in the deepest division at that point we'd ever seen in the sport.
And wins that I don't know if folks are going to appreciate. Like, he did that to Barboza when people basically didn't do that shit to Barboza.
Absolutely.
All right, but let me ask the question about this. I had Ferguson up 29-28 heading into the 4th. Now, the fight was stopped in the 4th, and I thought that Nate was clearly winning the 4th. So had it gone to a 5th, had it roughly stayed what it was, I would have had it tie. But I did see some people having Nate up potentially. I wonder what your scorecard was, and the biggest question is, did Tony look bad or good?
It was such a weird fight, to be honest, that I don't think I was. No, I was scoring it for CBS Sports HQ. Okay, I had it 2-1. Tony at the time of the stoppage.
That's how I had round 1 for Nate. I had the 2 subsequent rounds, I think, for Tony.
Well, look, the whole point was that's among the weirdest fights we've seen. Okay, with that whole breakdown in round 3, there was just weird. Maybe it was Nate in the end just kind of buying time and getting a breather with the tricks. But how did Tony do? Better than I thought, meaning I thought even with the opponent change, it was going to be a first-round stoppage. I really don't have a big-time faith in Tony's chin and recuperative abilities at this point. I think he almost fought too good for his own good, meaning this. The post-fight interview, he was all about saying, like, I kind of proved that I'm back here. I'm in a new division, and I proved that I'm back. Dude, I don't want to see Tony. I don't want to see him ring out what's left, Luke. I saw, it was better than his recent slide, but you have to factor in the opponent change, and Nate's motivation changed significantly when this got switched around. And I give Tony credit for jumping up to a 5-round fight, and he's always game. But Luke, this didn't buy him time in my eyes that we still need him to go out there against legitimate tough ranked guys, because that version of the leech that we saw against D-Rod in that close fight, that guy stops Tony Ferguson in round 1. He stops him, Luke, okay? How many more losses can we take, even if they're not devastating, to where you go, it's probably time. I think it's time right now, Luke. It's tough after that performance to make this statement that it feels like it's time, but it's not going to get any better.
So you had him winning going into the...
And I think he poured out what was left. And by the way, he came close to giving Nate a legitimate Gaethje 1 leg strike away from putting Khabib in peril type of moment. He seemed like he got that close. It looked for a hot second like he might pull the upset. Tony, I give you all the credit for taking the fight and pouring it out. I don't think it ever gets better than that. I think that's the last stand is really what I'm saying.
So my initial post-fight reaction show, what I said was that I thought there were some durability issues for Tony. Folks forget that, yes, he had good cardio, he had good power. Dude, he had a rock chin in his prime. I mean, a fucking just steel jaw. And it was weird. I know that there's this argument that Nate has deceptive power, which I believe. But, you could see Tony visibly wince in ways that I hadn't really seen him do that before. And also, you could just tell, the shots were taking some life out of him along the way. A lot of the viewers kind of came back at me saying, I actually disagree with you. I think that Tony looks a lot more done. Because I thought, the leg kicking was pretty good. He was overcommitting on the punches. But, in general, he was showing a intentionality. But I think I went back and rewatched after hearing some of those comments. I think I'm a little bit more in agreement with you now that where he reminds me of? He reminds me of Carlos Condit, four fights after the Robbie Lawler fight, where it just was not the same. And the Gaethje fight, I remember in real time people oh yeah, Tony really poured it out. Yeah, he did. Now what? Now where are we? That was a beating he should not have taken.
So if his future is to only take let's be fair, Clay Guida, Jim Miller type fights. Okay.
That's probably okay.
Okay.
Actually.
I mean, has he earned the right to pour out what's left? I guess yes. I mean, but he was a company guy who never really got fully rewarded. I know he finally got to the title shot opportunity, the interim belt against Gaethje.
Yeah.
But we talked about this before. I think he used up every possible inch of what was left to get himself to that point while still on the win streak, because the Khabib thing wouldn't fall into place, but he turned around in a record time from that serious injury when he tripped over the cord. And he was just running on fumes for so long that there was going to be a break when it was mentally or physically or both. It was just going to all break down. That guy's not coming back. And I think the best of him, look, in strange times Saturday night, the best of him was give him credit. but it was almost smoke and mirrors for him to pull that off, Luke. So I think you put him in there against a live body, you're going to get a bad ending. If you want to give him the soft legend ending and let him fight other legends, and we'll just trot those fights out there and they're fun and they're nostalgic, that's great. Anything more than that, like that Leach fight in hindsight, Luke, that would have been bad.
Could have been bad. Yeah, I think you're right. I do want to be clear. Like, there is something. The idea that he doesn't have any place in the UFC doesn't seem right. Like, again, hold on. If he wanted to thread that Jim Miller needle, I think that's at least for 1-2 more, something like that. That seems okay to me. It's anything more prolonged than that is where I have the problem.
In the the fallback responses, he's got a style that's too dependent upon taking damage to get to have success.
Way too much damage.
And he's not seeking grounded. He's not going out of his way to take the fight to the ground, Luke.
No.
And against the better guys, he's not going to be able to bring it there. So I got bad feelings, and I'm sick of having these bad feelings about veterans that I love. Right? I had that feeling about Gustafsson. You saw what happened, Luke. If I ever have that feeling about you, I'm going to tell you.